Hi, I'm Mr. McQuay, and today we're going to talk about the drill press, which is one of the most common tools in our labs, and it's one very useful tool. First thing we should look at is the safety sheet. This should be located around the drill press. Ours is right here, and you should read through that to make sure that you understand everything. If you don't, this is a good time to talk to the instructor and to get clarification. Don't just assume and don't just guess. Make sure that you understand completely. We'll start from the ground up and talk about the features of the drill press. The first thing that you need to be aware of is your safety zone. And if you look at the floor, there's this yellow stripes. And most of our labs are going to have this area. If you're using the drill press, you need to be the only one in this area. No one else can be in this area, and that makes it a lot safer. No one's going to bump you or push you, and that way you won't accidentally ruin your project or get hurt. The next thing that we're going to look at is our table. Our table can be raised and lowered, and we have to make sure that it's in the right spot. If you can look at our table here, you can see that a few students have actually drilled into the table, and that's not a good thing. So we're going to make sure it's at the right height and it's positioned so that we won't be drilling through it. The way we can do that is we can raise and lower it by this crank on the side. Now this is a really nice drill press in that the crank lowers it and raises it. Some of the other drill presses that you're going to see are going to have a lever on this side that you have to loosen to be able to raise and lower it. Some of them you just loosen the lever and lift up and down. Other ones you have to loosen the lever here and then use the crank. The lever just tightens it so it doesn't move on you. Now, to make sure that we're at the right height, we're going to have to check by putting a bit in this, which is called the chuck. And I will grab a bit that I have sitting here, and we're going to use a Forstner bit. That's what this is called, is a Forstner bit. This is going to take a lot of material out really quite fast and easily. The thing with the Forstner bit, though, is it's very sharp. The cutting surface here can easily cut you if you accidentally get it caught on you, or if you reach in and try to do something. So you have to be aware of the cutting surface. Now to fit it in the chuck, I'm going to loosen the chuck by just twisting it till it's open. Put my drill bit inside and then snug it up by twisting the opposite way. Once it's snug, I'm going to use the key, which is right here on this chain. Now this drill press has it attached by the chain, which is kind of handy. You don't have to go looking for it. If you do not see the key at the drill press, ask your instructor to give it to you. I put it in this hole and I tighten it and snug it up as tight as I can get it. Then I do it for the next one. There's 3 holes that I have to put it in the chuck to tighten it up. That way it is even and it's nice and snug. I don't have to worry about it coming off. Make sure that you take the key out of the chuck. You cannot leave the key in there. If you do this and turn the machine on, this will come flying out and it will hurt. So make sure the key is taken out and put back where it needs to go. Now, we can check how deep this is going to be cutting. How we do that is we used the crank on the side and see how far down it goes. There's a depth stop right here that we can adjust how far we want it to go. Now, to be sure that we're going the right depth, we need to put our project on here. And I have my project right over here. I'm going to grab it. I also have a scrap piece of board that I'm just going to put under it. And that way I know for sure that I'm not going to damage the table by drilling through it. Now, I have 3 holes that I want to drill. 3 holes right there. Before I drill those, though, I need to make a little indent so that the bottom of my Forstner bit will go in there and it will be centered in where I want to drill it. To make the indent, I'm going to use a scratch awl, and I'm just going to put it in the center and just give it a little tap where I want to drill those. Okay, I'm setting the scratch saw back down. And then I also have a mark on the side at how deep I want to go. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going where I want to, just setting the project just to the side, bringing my bit down and seeing if it's going to go deep enough. Now you can see that I'm not quite deep enough, so I'm going to change the depth stop, and I'll just do it with this hand here to make it a little deeper. Now this is spring-loaded, so if I let go of this, it's going to snap back, so that's something that you have to be careful of too. I need to go just a little deeper, so I'm going to raise this up just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just keep adjusting it till you're right where you want to be. Okay, I'm going about halfway through my board. Now we have adjusted the depth. We're not going to go through the table. And the next thing we need to do is clamp our work to the table so that it doesn't start spinning us, it doesn't fall, it doesn't move. To do this, we can use two different methods. One is a vise. You can use a vise to set down on here. The other way is to clamp it to the table itself. The vise for this project would be, this is too wide to use a vise, so we're going to clamp it to the table. I have some C-clamps and a couple blocks that I'm going to use. The blocks are going to go underneath here, and I'm going to put my C-clamp on, and I have to adjust it a little bit. It's not quite tight enough. And I'm clamping it down. So that's the right tightness for my C-clamp. The only thing, this where I want to drill is not in the right spot. So I have my C-clamp adjusted. I'm just going to move this over and check to make sure that I'm drilling in the right spot. And it's off just a little bit here. So I'm going to move it a little bit more and get it lined up. And that looks really good. So now I'll clamp it secure. Now if you are unsure, have your instructor check this to make sure that it's not going to move on you and that it's secure. Now the next thing that we want to do is I'll show you how to turn the drill press on, but first let's get our safety glasses on, because to use this machine you have to have safety glasses on. And I have mine right over here. I'm going to grab my goggles. I have glasses, so I have to use goggles, which is fine. And I have them on my face now. Now, to turn on the drill press, the box to control it is right here. Start and stop. If the stop is pressed in, you just twist it to get it out. Just like that. Now, for drilling, you can drill it, different materials take different speeds. For the purposes of this lab and most of the middle schools, we have it preset for you. So you don't have to worry about the speed that this is going to be turning. In the high schools, that's different. You'll be setting your own speed. But for our purposes, it's set at the right speed. So I'm going to turn it on now. It's spinning. I take and bring the bit down and just start drilling until I come to the stop, and I'll feel it when it gets to the right depth. There, I'm at the right depth. I put it up, I shut it off, and I wait till the bit stops. Don't reach in, because you will get caught and it will be very bad. Even when you reach in after it stops, be very careful. If you get your hand caught on the edge of that Forstner bit, it will hurt. Okay, my project is done with that hole. I would repeat this on all my 3 holes, and that is the drill press. Make sure that your area is cleaned up before you leave, and put away any of the tools that you have gotten out.